What's up guys, Mattsbeybattles, and today we've got a video discussing CBTs on the channel. So basically there's going to be some changes. Probably, but this is a video for you to be able to put in your input on those changes. And if you agree, disagree, and you can try to sway me in my opinion on this. So I'm going to bring up 4 possible bans or unbans, and you can tell me in the comments below whether you think that, whether you agree with me or not, or whether you agree with something being banned or unbanned, or you want to keep it the way it is. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Whether you should keep how it is or change. So first one is 4D, and that is Flash. So the reason for banning would be if you saw how the last 4D tournament turned out. Flash kind of went through the entire field. I really don't think there is a Bay that could consistently beat Flash. Zekron Zombie could cheese it, but that's a Poison Bay. A Poison Bay should not beat Flash without extreme cheese. The Smiling Nut, I believe Smiling Nut, with Twisted Gasher, that stood a chance. Maybe Pivadov, because there was a CS tip there, but given that Raffi got sent out, I'm pretty sure even with SA-165, Jade was going to get sent out. So that is the reasoning behind Flash. The reasoning for keeping it is, well, there's a lot of things that actually counter Flash. Low Flash has weaknesses. The other thing for Flash 2 on the side of banning is it won 3 standard CBTs. So it's very good. You know it's very good if it can win in standard like that. The reasons for not, or for keeping it legal and not banning it. If you look at those CBTs, well, it did in like the 28, it did beat out, and 27, like it beat out some Synchrom, but generally speaking, you know, it was a taller Synchrom defense Bay 9230 that Flash beat, and it hasn't had to face arguably the toughest string. People don't use defense, people don't use Synchrom. Some of those standard CBTs, it's swayed a little bit because it's not, the level of competition is not as high. If you go back to CBT 19, if you want to go to the intro of that, maybe I'll put a card up here if I remember. That entire lineup was loaded. Phantom was used, Twisted was the lowest tier thing used, but there was Phantom, Twisted, Death, Duo, Flash, Very Eris, and everything else was Synchrom, I think. Something like that. Also in this, nobody used the counters as well. So it's kind of hard to say. If people put counters to Flash on and use those counters, then maybe Flash doesn't exactly win, you know, and I think low Flash has overall got more weaknesses. This was taller Flash that won, and nobody really countered tall Flash in this tournament. You could have gone low wing, you could have gone low scythe. Admittedly, I only have 1 scythe at the moment. I got 2 wings, and that hurts. I've only got 1 Diablo, so that hurts a little bit. I understand that. It's something I'd like to get in the future. As much as I want a lot, there's a couple of parts that I might need to snipe, so to speak, to help that out. But yeah, there's a reason. I'm not personally, I don't think Flash is broken. I think people should use counters, and if people use even Death with CS, that's not, or RSF even, you know, change the defense tip, something more defensive. I've got a ton of CSs, least defensive, but got more stamina. I've got a couple RSs and RB, and I got some RSs. I think if people would go with those defense tips, maybe use Diablo as an attacker, then Flash can be beaten. But nobody did that, and that's why Flash tore through the tournament. So personally, I lean with Flash. I think it's healthier to have Flash, because also if you drop down from Flash, we've seen, if you saw the BOB battle yesterday, somebody used Flash with a defense tip, I guess anti-attack, and Very Eris's recoil sent it flying against Flash, beating 145 RS in attack mode. So, I mean, there's a bit of a drop-off if Flash goes. The only reason Diablo wouldn't be up for that, I heard Diablo's good so far in the 4D meta, for reading Swift's comments, is, in my case for CBTs, it hasn't really done anything. Diablo hasn't done anything at the moment. But yeah, there's combos that can beat Flash, you gotta use them. And that's kind of the theme here with everything else, if you'll see. So next up is 230. 230 was banned a while ago because it won basically every tournament that it entered. It won limited format CBT2. It won limited format CBT3. Both were on Scythe, to be fair, which is banned, or had been banned since. Then it wasn't in 3 or 4 or 5, and then it won 6, and then it got to the finals in 7, losing to me, who had free 230 GCF on Medio counter combo. So that's 3, could have very easily gotten to 4. All the things except for one thing that really had a chance against it got knocked into the other side of the bracket in limited format CBT 7. So Grivaquilla never really had to face them. The only exception would be that did get there was a knockout on it, but it was one of those things that's probably like a 1 in a million or a 1 in 10 type of shot. You know, it's not going to happen consistently, and that was Earth S130 and B from Peyton. He had Leon as the energy ring. I could have just said the full combo anyway, instead of saying in that order. But yeah, 230, the reasoning for keeping it banned would be simple as, you know, if people, what it was before is a lot of people just wouldn't use tall stuff and it would dominate. And it can very easily, I feel like it can definitely dominate. The reason for allowing it though is simple. Nobody's using defense combos. And because of that, 230 I think needs to come back. You need to have another check. Use tall bays, then use tall attack bays. Tall attack bays, you know, have a weakness, and small attack bays. You get the height meta comes back a little bit more. I mean, the height meta is still, like, I got 160 in B, which is tall, and that, you know, that was able to beat out Blitz. Not that that's the best attack wheel in the world, but still. And there's SR200, TH170, all of those are on the table, but not used as commonly. So as of right now, I'm leaning back to 230, and again, if it's too difficult, then start using something that can beat it. There's a lot of combos that beat it. I've heard Y-Vang breaks face bolts, banded Y-Vang. I got 2 bandits, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Banded Killer Cannon, banded Gimbal. I got 2 Y-Vangs too. I've got other, you know, 0G stuff. H145 RSF, CH120 RSF, or RF, I guess. You put El Drago or Destroyer on R145, or you know, like R145 or something, or H145, Pegasus. There's a Jade, somebody's in Jade, R145 RF. Swift was testing Pegasus A230 RF. Like, there are a lot of options for people to use. So if 230 ends up dominating again, then maybe we'll come back and reconsider it again. But honestly, I think the meta in limited format tournaments has just devolved. Especially this tournament, I've seen it in a few of them. Sometimes there's just way too many attack, and there needs to be another defensive check. People aren't going to use defensive combos, then I'm going to reintroduce a defensive check. Speaking of defensive checks, I think I heard rumors, see, I don't use WBO much, and I've kind of searched a little bit of stuff on it, you know, every now and then. I never really see things. But I had heard whispers of 2 things possibly being unbanned, and somebody is in the corner of one of those things. I'll get to that though in a second. First, speaking of defense, Libra. I don't have a Libra at the moment. My Libra is in almost mid condition. I've used it in like 1 battle when I got it. Same with my Pegasus. Both of them are basically a like 1 or 2 battle used Libra and Pegasus with like 2 or 3 paint chips, like tiny paint chips, nothing major. I mean, they're almost pristine. But if I ever get a Libra, would Libra be worth unbanning? I know Exotics used it in that limited format CBT. That's off his channel anymore, so nobody can go find it and see it. But I think it got yeeted round 1. I think I had it actually round 1, maybe. I think I might have used it round 1, actually. Might have been one of the 2, and I think I got a Zombie Bay right away. I think somebody else used one too, and they got destroyed. So, thought would be bringing Libra back, just because it's something that apparently is being considered. I did see a post about 230 being unbanned, or being banned for the sake of mixing things up a bit at one point. But I can say through my CBTs, I don't actually agree with that. At least at the moment, I don't agree with that. I think 230 should definitely stay legal. Just from CBT experience. And that's definitely competitive. So Libra, and last but not least, there was somebody, I saw them on the WBO, I also saw them in the Swiss comment section, on something random. It had nothing to do with this. But another person, Jerry, has been in the corner of unbanning Dark Knight. Dark Knight's not close to me, I can't reach for it. Reasoning, again, reasoning for Libra, I don't know what Libra exactly is, it's just kind of a I've heard whispers about Libra being unbanned, so I thought I'd put in the ring. Dark Knight, I've got more of a, you know, why and why not, right? Dark Knight, why? Because here's my thought too. I haven't done a lot of testing with it, but I don't see how it's just, if gravity's allowed, I don't see why Dark Knight wouldn't be. I know you can put anything on it to make it left rotation, but I thought you could do the same with Dragoon if it was metal up. I guess metal up's not quite as good, but still, you know, it's like, you know, Destroyer does, you can use Destroyer for defense, you can use Destroyer for attack, free 230 GCF. I don't really see what Dark Knight, like how Dark Knight is so much better than Destroyer at all of those things that, you know, I know you could make a Spin Stealer with it, maybe make a defense combo with it, but I just don't see how Dark Knight would be so good that it, like, breaks anything, you know? In my case, too, CBTs go off of what parts I have. You know, it's not like everybody just uses their own parts and brings the whatever they want, and you see a ton of high-tier stuff, because, you know, I don't have, like, 9 Bakshans or something, you know, for that kind of thing. I've only got one Dark Knight, so unless that Dark Knight is so freaking busted that it, you know, starts dominating, especially in CBTs, I don't see why it's an issue. You know, if Gravity Destroyer is allowed, Lightning Out Drag was really good too. I just don't see the Dark Knight is so much better, you know, that it, like, dominates. I think that would be the reason, not is that if Dark Knight is really that good, but I don't believe it was, I think it was banned on site, basically. But I've heard there's communities that play with Dark Knight, so I thought, let's give it a shot and see how it goes. So, leave your comments in the comments below on why you agree or why you disagree with each of those. If you think something should be, for all those, whether you think they should be banned or unbanned. The first one is just 4D format. The other 3 are limited format for my CBTs. But yeah, I've just been thinking about this recently. I don't want to be like too harsh or critical of people, but I want the competitive floor to raise a little bit. I kind of miss the day. I feel like at least some of my CBTs back in the day had a little bit more competitive combos in them, and I kind of like to see that come back a little bit. And also please use 0G in standard, like at least a few more people. I don't have to have like 16 0G bays or something, but like there's a 4D format, and I'm doing CBTs in the 4D format. So please use at least a little bit more 0G, and I mean, Duo is always going to get used in that, so I don't have to ask about Duo, but it helps differentiate too, between 4D. So yeah, that's my request. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video talking about possible unbans. If you have any other things you think should be banned or unbanned, also leave them in the comments below. And I think it just make for a fun discussion. I mean, CBTs are a little bit different than the tournament meta, but I'm kind of at the point where I'm just like, you know what, if something is too busted, then people need to just start countering it, you know? The only question would be if I had Neo Alpha Dragon comment Mega Turtles 10 combo identically, and I was like, okay, I can't do that, because if I launch both bays in, right? So if something is a literal mirror or very, very close to a mirror, that could be problematic, because that could very easily devolve into whichever tip designs is who entered first. But if they've got similar wear on the tips or something, that could easily just become who gets launched in first, and that's not very fair. You get those sometimes, and it's impossible to avoid, but when it's a mirror, you know, that'd be my only thing, is if I had a bunch of people enter the exact same. But if it was banded Y-Van, right, you know, somebody can switch to CH120 instead of H145, vice versa, or change what's below it. You know, there's some things to change. That was another thing I've got to think about, because I feel like, yeah, mirrors are, I haven't thought about really what to do if people try to enter with mirrors, because I've never had that happen before. Or how much needs to be changed, you know, depending on combo. I think R squared F to RF is fine, but, you know, Neo Alpha Dragon went to left LRF and left wing, or downforce, and it was left wing, and I'm kind of like, okay, I wonder how much this is going to change. I hope they don't face each other. Anyway, rant at the end over about that. So leave your comments below and give your opinions, and we can discuss. Thank you, and have a nice day.